Does Conor McGregor have a chance?
No, and those odds are not nearly wide enough. Not nearly wide enough. No fighter has been able to beat Floyd, who's been training since they were babies in boxing. They have no shot. A couple have come kind of close, but they've been training since they were babies. Conor McGregor could be the most naturally gifted boxer who ever lived. Let's take for granted that he has more natural ability than Sugar Ray Robinson or Roy Jones, who both had more natural ability than Floyd Mayweather. Let's just take that as a given. He would still have zero chance to beat Floyd Mayweather. It's a complete disrespect to the craft of boxing. Just as Floyd Mayweather would have no chance to beat Conor McGregor in an octagon. You cannot make a hexagon here and split the difference. So if they're in a boxing ring, it's like saying, Michael Phelps versus LeBron James, who wins? Well, you would say, is it in a swimming pool or a basketball court, right? Well, that's not fair because there's not as much overlap in those two disciplines as there is in combat sports, MMA versus boxing. Well, okay, but if you took a water polo player, right? They have to swim and have to be in cardiovascular shape, and put him in against a freestyle racer in swimming, right? In a race, we all know what's going to happen. Every single time, the swimmer is going to beat the water polo player in a race, and every single time, the water polo player beat the swimmer in water polo. Every time. Conor McGregor has exactly a 0% chance in this fight.
I respectfully disagree, Max Kellerman. I really, really do. I respectfully disagree. I defer. Like I tell you, I do what you should do when it comes to basketball. I do what you do with boxing. What you should be doing with basketball, I do with boxing. I defer to the expertise of the great Max Kellerman. But I would say this. I give him a 1% chance, which is a puncher's chance. I mean, anybody that gets clipped right, you just never know. Now, do I think that Floyd Mayweather's going to get caught? No. Do I consider him to be a magician and one of the best ever? Absolutely. There are professional boxers, like you have said, who have been training since they were babies and still could not get in the ring and touch Floyd Money Mayweather. All things are true, but I will never dismiss a puncher's chance to zero. I never, ever will do that. I remember when George Foreman was, 45 years old, Mike?
Yep.
Looking big, fat like the Pillsbury Doughboy and still knocked out Michael Moorer. I remember no boxing, Iran Barkley, at least compared to the Hitman Hearns, catching him with a blow after he was getting schooled for 3 rounds, and all of a sudden the Hitman fell like a tree trunk, for crying out loud. I've seen times in boxing history where a punch ultimately changed everything. That is the only chance that I give Conor McGregor. He can't box with Floyd. He doesn't have the skills. He's not on the same level. I expect Floyd to destroy him. But at the same time, to say 0 chance to a puncher, I can never do that in the sport of boxing. I just can't do it.
The difference is George Foreman was an extremely seasoned, old, great boxer. George Foreman had fought Joe Frazier and Kenny Norton and Muhammad Ali in his first career, and Evander Holyfield in his second career. George Foreman was an incredibly experienced, all-time great boxer who was old. He landed a big punch as part of an overall strategy, started throwing left hooks, moving Moorer, the southpaw, towards his straight right hand. Oh, he was much more experienced than Moorer. As a boxer, Iran Barkley also was a very experienced pro, crude in certain ways, but experienced boxer. The closest comparison to this would be when Floyd Patterson defended his title. He was heavyweight champ, but he was a very small heavyweight champ. He was a middleweight as an amateur, and they were looking to juice the title, not fight Sonny Liston at the time. They fought the Olympic gold medalist in his pro debut. And that guy, Pete Rademacher, scored a knockdown against Floyd. Floyd got up and won the fight, of course. But the Olympic gold medalist in boxing, also a very experienced amateur boxer. Conor McGregor's not a boxer.
Well, work with me, because I'm going to talk to you here, Max, because even though I'm debating, remember, I'm deferring, I don't mind being schooled. I don't mind being schooled, all right? It's a rare moment. Take it and absorb it and embrace it. It's one of the only times it'll ever happen in this show. But here's the deal.
That's all right. Stephen A. Hey, you know what? Stevie A loves the kids, but he also knows the fight game. Stevie A knows the fight game.
Let me ask you this, Max. Seriously. You know, and I know that guys who are boxers, like in the profession, ain't always boxers. Like when you said George Foreman, was he really a boxer?
Yes.
I mean, this dude hit you. I'm saying, this dude hit you. I'm asking, because you're right, because I'm asking.
Yeah.
When he hit you, my God, you fell. I mean, he was just so powerful. Iran Barkley, do I look at him as a boxer? Let me throw out another name for you. Remember Ricardo Mayorga, okay? You know how you just look at certain guys and it's like, yeah, they're in the profession, but they're really brawlers as opposed to fighters. You know, how different is that from a guy coming from the UFC who knows all those other tricks that don't necessarily have something to do with boxing?
Yeah, like holding and grabbing and pushing, Max.
Yeah, elbows.
Right. Yeah, that is an excellent...
The MMA positions, yeah.